What's going on, everybody? This is Travis with Carter Capital. This is another episode of Trade with Travis, a morning session the morning session at 6:30 a.m. I hope everybody's doing very well. Hopefully, you end up having a good trading day yesterday. Obviously, we end up talking about what ended up happening yesterday. Forced that movement. They end up popping up to the upside. I'm actually happy that, kind of hindsight 2020. I'm happy that that actually happened, and we was able to see it before. Not taking a full loss on that actual trade because the market actually ended up having a huge pop up to the upside. So uh, we ended up taking a look at that plus more, be able to see if there's any opportunities in the market overall. But like always, let's go ahead and go through the disclaimer, and then after that, we'll go ahead and jump into some of these pairs. Uh, I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. I understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. Also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it is not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, let me go ahead and show myself onto the screen. Hopefully everybody's doing very well. Good morning to you. This is actually this is the last session that we end up doing for the week when it comes down to the mornings and everything else. I don't see anything. I don't foresee anything on Fridays. Typically, when we end up doing Fridays, it's like non-farm payroll and everything else like that. This will be the last session that we end up doing this week for the morning, and then after that, obviously, the last session that we end up doing will end up being tonight at 9 p.m. As we end up going through and taking a look at everything. So happy everybody's here. For the people that end up showing up will end up showing up a little bit later on. Make sure that you end up dropping in the comments. It's always good to be able to talk to everybody, and hopefully there is some trading opportunities that may end up showing up that we can be able to get into. All right. So with that being said, let's talk about what is on the horizon right now. We end up having, well, there's really no news as of yet, aside from at 8 o'clock, we're gonna end up seeing Germany have some consumer prices preliminary news that's gonna end up coming out, and then after that, we're gonna end up having GDP annualized at 8:30 a.m. So we have to keep that in mind. But other than that, today is gonna end up being a trader's day going into tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna end up being the first day of the month. We end up having GDP from the pound. We end up having retail sales from Germany. We end up having HICP from the Eurozone, and then our HICP again from the Eurozone. So a lot of stuff that's going to end up affecting the pound, a lot of stuff that's going to end up affecting the Eurozone. I think that overall, if you really kind of take a look at those pairs and kind of get an example of what may end up happening just in general with those, uh, we will probably end up seeing that more than likely there will start to be a little bit of a U-turn at some point in time. So we may end up seeing that they may start to finally kind of pick back up when it comes down to movement. So give me one quick second. I just want to make sure that everybody can be able to see what's happening on the red brand at this particular point. Um, Also, while I'm talking and saying this now, the Discord group will end up being public, or I'll end up making it public on October 1st, which will end up being on Saturday. So if you're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about that, I will go ahead and put that up so everybody can be able to see what that's about. Join if that's something that you may be interested in, and also be able to go through and get some more information about that. Super excited about it. Been working hard on it. Uh, wanted to be able to wanted to make sure that at least the first portion of it was going to end up being definitely worth everything that's placed in on it. Being able to have news, being able to have a hub where you can be able to um, get great information, talk to great people, and be able to place in trades and be able to talk more outside of what we do here. So wanted to make sure that I end up putting that out in place and be able to go from there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts and see what's happening on the big three. And then after that, that'll kind of let me be able to know what I need to adjust with the overall markets. I'm going to start off with United States dollar index. As I said before, with the United States dollar index, I was kind of off on that pair. I felt like the market was going to end up having a big fall just because the market has hit a de-extension. Typically, when the market ends up hitting a weekly D extension, then that means that you got to see some type of retracement first before doing anything. And that's exactly what's actually happening on this movement right now. You can clearly be able to see that, or at least from a weekly standpoint, you can see that the bears kind of jumped into the market. And I think primarily the reason why the bears are jumping into the market is because the bulls are taking profit. I don't think it's just because the United States dollar is getting weak. I just think that overall, the United States dollar has been up so long and it finally hitting the top of this channel right here. And now we're getting to a point to where it has to retrace a little bit. So that's what I expect is going to end up happening going into the next at least 7 to 11 days, at least 7 to 11 days. And then after that, we'll start to see that this market will, give me 1 second. At least 7 to 11. Okay, there we go. And okay, cool. At least 7 to 11 days of overall movement. And then after that, we'll probably end up seeing over the course of the next 2 to 3 months that this market may end up really starting to retrace a little bit. Now, keep this in mind. If the United States dollar index starts to fall, then that means that most of the index pairs like XPX 500, US 30, and NAS 100 will start to be able to start having that uptick to the upside. So that is two things that you have to be able to pay attention to. It's not necessarily a direct correlation, but it is a correlation in general that you want to be able to kind of take a look at overall. And that also means that U.S. dollar pairs will also end up making their movements to the downside and start showing a little bit of weakness. That's why when we talk about like pound United States dollar and euro United States dollar, or the eurozone and the pound, when it comes down to their movement, we've seen that it's being kind of flustered for their movement to the downside anyway. So we may end up seeing a little bit of a retracement overall on those moves. Let's take a look at U.S. oil real quick. U.S. oil, we end up talking about being able to look at finding a buying opportunity on being able to make that pair. The market finally ended up breaking out of that consolidation box to the upside. I did not take a trade on this movement to the upside right here. I'm kind of mad that I didn't because it broke out of 79 and from there absolutely exploded out of that position because I really felt like after it ended up hitting this consolidation and plus what we're hearing with the news from, at least from my end, potential hurricanes in our overall area, that oil is probably going to end up being one of those things that's going to be used or will be used a lot. So we have the first breakout. The market ended up basically retapping this 82.44 area, and it's retapping the backside of that consolidation as well. So the thing would be, if you missed out on the first move, it would be to wait for the market to break out of this position again. Retest this overall outer trend line. Outer consolidation, and then after that, look for the market to be able to pop back up. Once that happens, I believe that the market can be able to get up to $95 a barrel before being able to get tested overall. So that would be based off of this right tip that we end up talking about for the consolidation channel. Just keep that in mind. I do like that. I do like this overall move as a possibility of being able to get in. I should have got into it yesterday, if I'm being perfectly honest. Yesterday, I just wasn't on the charts as I should have been on most pairs on being able to get in. But opportunity was there. We talked about it. If you end up getting into it, congratulations on that move, obviously. For the people that have not made a decision on what they're going to do for this move yet, I do believe that we probably might end up seeing a little bit of a consolidation. But if that consolidation breaks above 82.44, now it's time to be able to start making that move for being able to buy up to $95. So there it is right there with that one. Let's take a look at what's happening with gold. I'm going to be very quick on this one. My guy Fatty ended up saying he believed that gold was going to end up going, he said he think gold was going to end up going up. And just as soon as I end up saying that, he ended up popping in. That is funny. Like, I literally just said his name. There we go. Cool. What's going on, Fatty? What's going on, Block? Hope everything's going well with you. Let's see. End up taking a look at what's happening with gold in general. So I'm going to speak very quickly on this one. But essentially, it's pretty much the same thing. Market was in a long-term consolidation from 2070 to 1681. It broke out of 1681 to the downside, fell down to 1615, which was our trade last, which was I think last week. Well, last week on Friday. And from there, since then, the market has been given a little bit of an adjustment back up to the upside. But essentially what it's kind of doing is actually trying to build out another consolidation area. I do believe that the market will end up eventually probably going back up just because the United States dollar is getting weak. We finally end up having a breakout. This is a strong counter trend line break possibility on this movement. It wouldn't surprise me if this market ends up retesting 1685 as a movement. That will be basically going back to what a previous support was from that position. So if that does happen, then I would be considered. What's going on, Eltron? Did you get those numbers from yesterday? I had it on the screen during the live stream. Did you get those numbers? If not, then I'll put it back on the screen today so you can be able to see it. You can take a screenshot of it and be able to place that in. If the market ends up breaking out, it may end up going back to 1681, and we can be able to see how everything kind of pops up from there. No, you didn't. Okay, cool. I'll place it back in. I'll place it back in so you can see it. Market has retraced to the 382, which is a solid retracement, not necessarily the greatest retracement in the world, but it is a solid one, which means that the extension on that one be 1692. I would not look at being able to trade it all the way to 1692 if it does break out in that position. I will only look at being able to get out of it at 1681. The reason why I want to get out of it at 1681 is because that essentially you're going back inside of that large consolidation box that we end up trading before. So it will be basically two different take profits. It'll be at 1658, which will end up being the previous past resistance turn. Past resistance turn future support. No, past support turn future resistance. Sorry. And if it breaks inside of there, then back up to that large consolidation box that we end up seeing a little bit earlier. That would be the plan on that one if that opportunity presents itself. If it doesn't, then I just stay away from it and being able to go from there. But I do think that the market is bullish. I would not look at selling yet until the market kind of builds out a true consolidation. I don't think that we have a true consolidation area yet. I mean, we can consider that being the consolidation because the market actually ended up breaking out of that area, but it hasn't proven to be able to find a natural support yet. And because we don't have a natural support yet, there's really no consolidation type of movement on this one. It'll only be a continuation move. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense when it comes down to that one. I'm going to jump into my wheelhouse very quickly, and then after that we'll get out of those when it comes down to those movements. Let's see, US 30 is just jumping around everywhere at this particular point. I'm going to pull these charts up real quick. Let's see. So done with that. I do like the buy on that one. I will say that I do like the buy on gold, but it gotta break a counter trend line for me to be able to consider getting in. Once it breaks that counter trend line, I would consider being able to do that. Stop loss in this case, you can end up placing it below the swing low at 1641. Anything below 1641 will end up being good when it comes down to that. Or if you want to be truly want to go by the book, then you'll go below the A, which would be at 1620. But you'll be attacking 1658. So risk reward factor wouldn't be very good if you do that. So I would say anywhere right around 1639 ish. If the market ends up breaking out of that position, if it's not there, you don't like the risk reward factor, then it'll go from there. This is a corrective move. There's more of a downside move. I agree. And that's the only reason why I'm saying more of if you're taking this trade, you're scalping you're trying to look to be able to scalp to that 1658 area again. But that move has already been fulfilled from that last time. So really and truthfully, the better move for me overall, if I'm just saying, hey, if I'm taking a trade and if I'm just looking at this overall from a holistic perspective, it needs more time. From a holistic perspective, it needs more time. Now, United States dollar index is bearish. And United States dollar index is basically correcting from that large weekly move that ended up happening. So with that being said, if the United States dollar index is going to start retracing, then that means that gold is going to end up going up. So it makes more sense that gold will end up going up over the course of the next 7 to 11 days to the upside, compared to actually being able to start back and fall back down from there. So if you're going to end up making a move, I would say that because of that, I would look at being able to take a buy first before looking at being able to sell. So it was the buy till 1671. I said from 1658 to 1681. So yes, in that case. But once again, I would not look at being able to take a buy until there's a confirmation of a counter trend line breakout. And if there's no confirmation, then quite frankly, I ain't gonna do anything. All right, so here we go. US 30 at this particular point, this chart is looking very weird. That's the easiest way to be able to explain it. And I'm just going to we'll go based off of just numbers and just kind of plan it out. Obviously, we had that big drop, consolidation, big drop, consolidation. The market fell down. My thought process was that I felt like it could fall down to 28,520. Over to the downside, we end up having a strong push up back to the upside, primarily because of what's happening with the United States dollar index and being able to see what's actually happening with that move. I finally found where that boost button was. um, so essentially, we have this large consolidation panel that's actually starting to be able to build out right now at this particular point. If this market does break back up, it's going to go back up to 30,000, which will end up being that previous support level where I think it should be able to end off at. Currently, right now, if we're looking at where the market actually is, and relative to price and relative to where we are in the high volume node, we're in the middle of consolidation. So uh, everybody that knows me, or at this point, the people that have been around me and been trading, know that I hate consolidation. I absolutely hate consolidation. I don't like trading inside of consolidation. I don't like being bothered with consolidation. I will trade on the outsides all day long. So this same order that we end up having placed in, I believe about 4 days ago at this particular point at 29,670 would be the order that I would look at being able to place in. I would re-enter that order at 30,270. I mean 30,670. If the market breaks out, the take profit will end up being at 30,000 for that move to the upside. That will be my overall plan. If the market does move to the downside, yeah, my issue is that if it does fall to the downside, it's going to fall right back down to this previous consolidation block down at the bottom, which means that now we have a larger consolidation that we're going to have to build out from that movement, meaning that we'll probably end up seeing something like that for the overall consolidation area, which also means that it will make it untradeable for the first, probably for the first 5 to 10 days of October if that happens. Um, I don't know if it will. I believe that the market will probably end up popping up, at least for a short term as a retracement, because the market really hasn't retraced truly yet. So if there's going to be a move, that move to the upside will probably end up being that move covering up, um, basically fulfilling this overall low volume node that's right here. So my biggest order will probably end up being in that area once the market ends up breaking out at 29,670. I know the market's at 29,510. I know that some people will possibly look at being able to get into that trade when this market ends up breaking out of. We'll probably see more people start to be able to get into this market when it breaks out of 29,570. Um, we could start to see that probably momentum will start to push up once it breaks out of 570. But ultimately, I think that I think it'll end up pushing out of that 29,670 area, and then after that, start to go up to the 30,000 area, and then it will probably look to be able to fall from there. 27,686 next stop. This will fall. Let's see. Give me your number again. Oh, you think it's going to hit resistance and fall again? That's essentially what you're saying. You think that this will be the natural adjustment to right there. Hold on, let me get rid of this box. Essentially what you're saying is based off of new data. That is what you're saying. L trend, that's what you're saying? Are you saying that it's going to end up going back up to resistance and then possibly fall from there? say on field with the minimum. Okay. Speaking of fields, let me go ahead and do this real quick. Eltran, take a screenshot of this real quick. I'm gonna pull this. I'm gonna pull this up so you can be able to see it. That is my adjustment to the fibs. That's what I do. Uh, Placing a trend line, then after that, there it is right there. So you want to take a quick screenshot of that. That is how I adjust my fibs. And obviously, you can do what you want with it, but that's how I adjust my fibs. I make it match up with what I see on TradingView. I mean, on Smart Trader, because Smart Trader doesn't have some. I mean, because TradingView doesn't have something like this. Okay, I'm gonna keep this up for. I'm gonna keep this up for another 10 seconds, and I go ahead and go from there. All right, good to go. So, let's see. I see a potential buy on US 30 had 3 levels drop, may reversal, could go up another 3 levels up outside of your box, obviously. Yeah, I feel that same way. And that's the reason why I'm saying 27.6. I'm saying the previous number that I ended up saying before, that 27,670 number. Now I know that if it does break up to the upside, we probably might end up seeing a little bit of struggle to be able to break past that point at 29,730. Um, which is which kind of matches up with that overall position. I actually think I probably should adjust that if I'm being conservative, because we didn't see it hit resistance right here, right there, and right there, which means that I probably should adjust the numbers to be safe. I probably okay. This is what I probably let's see. I got to think about that one for a second. I'll come back to that one. I'll come back to that one. Let me go ahead and go to the other ones real quick. I'll come back to that one. Nas 100. Last night I ended up saying that I would potentially look at taking in a buy order if the market ended up breaking a counter trend line break. The market never broke a counter trend line break and fell back inside of consolidation. Currently, from an hourly perspective, we are in this portion of the node. We have that gap of space from here to here that I would like to be able to take advantage of. Obviously, we know that the last time that it dropped, it went to 11,710. Because it fell down to 11,710, that will be the area where I'll look at being able to take profit at on this move to the upside. Once again, I believe that there'll probably be a little bit more upward bound when it comes down to being able to buy off of this one. But it's going back to what L Train ended up saying before. We probably might have to adjust that one as well, because I'm starting to see that we may have to say that that is a new resistance that has to be broken. We basically had it hit a couple times before being able to break out. Let's see. Yeah, I do that. Okay, so if the market ends up breaking out of that area, I will look at being able to take a trade to 11,000. Okay, did you see the candle today? I think stay away from the market today on Friday. Uh, Be very careful. I believe so as well. To be honest, I hope what I think is probably going to end up happening is that I think that it's probably going to end up popping right back up to this overall resistance. Try to retest it one time and probably might end up falling. Uh, the question would be, okay, well, if you want to sit up there and look at being able to play the resistance to support game, and basically just being able to sell it and then being able to bring it back down, or do you believe that the market's going to actually pop? I believe that going into October, we're going to see some type of big retracement. Finally, uh, with the United States dollar, and with that being said, if the United States dollar is going to end up retracing finally, you're probably going to end up seeing US 30, NAS, and XBX 500 pop up to the upside. So that would be my quick assessment of it. Do I believe that? Do I believe that the United States? Well, do I believe that everything is ready to turn around and start to push back up to the upside right now? No, but I do think that it has to retrace some. So I think that retracement will go back to this previous consolidation area at least. And that'll probably give us a solid trade to be able to make while the market's trying to readjusting and trying to figure out itself in that position. So I'm going to go ahead and place in this pending order right here. I go 11,500. 11,500 will be the entry. Take profit will be 11,700. Stop loss on this one will go 11,000. I'm going to say 11,420, but we'll see how everything kind of plays out once this market actually ends up popping out of this area. But 11,500, 11,420 will be the stop loss. 11,700 we end up being the take profit. Got a risk reward factor of right around 1 to 2.9. And obviously, biggest rule when it comes down to that, especially if we're not ready to make this move to the upside, if it basically rejects off of this area and starts to go back inside of this very strongly, exit and then re-enter based off of that. So I'm going to go ahead and place in that order now and see what we got off of that one. Go ahead and place in that information as we speak. Let's see. Since the market break, the low up move, correction, second down moves, second correction be a little dangerous. The up move, yeah, you're right. Next time a move probably be bad. Then a savage sale, yes. Well, remember the last time it happened like that. The last time it happened like that was right during the FOMC meeting minute. Market popped up to the upside. It had like a little crazy. There it is right there. Here's the last time I ended up making that last adjustment. Market went through consolidation, ended up popping up about 800 points, basically fulfilled this overall gap. And then when it fulfilled that overall gap, that's the move that we ended up making at 800. And then after that, fell down 1,400 points back inside of that consolidation area. And then after that, started to build out this area right here. I know exactly what you're talking about. Because heck, I remember talking to you about this move when it ended up popping up 800 points the first time. I felt like it would end up going up, but I didn't like how slow it was actually moving up. And when you take a look at it, it was basically a rising wedge before it fell down. Yeah, so market makers may be trying to get everybody to be excited to be able to push back up, only just to be able to drop the hammer again, and be able to go from there. I hope that doesn't happen for everybody, but I do believe that we got at least one move off of this one. Let me go ahead and place in that order real quick. So pending order 11,500. Stop loss, I got 11,420. Take profit 11,700. Risk reward factor, because we're going against the trend, I'm probably just going to go a 3% move. I don't think that we'll probably end up seeing anything higher than that, at least from a retracement standpoint. It may end up popping higher than that, but to be safe, I'm going to say that number, and we'll see how everything kind of plays out. Take profit. Entry 11,500. Take profit 11,700. Stop loss, I got 11,420, which would be just below that little area of support where it actually ended up making that move. And once again, if it falls back inside of there quick, then hurry up and just, if you feel like it rejects quick and you don't like it, just exit and then re-enter if it pops back up to the upside. All right, so that is the first trade that I am placing in of the day. Yes, okay, there we go. Okay, I already got that one. I got that one plugged in. There we go. Good to go. Now, if it never triggers, it never triggers. Yes, I'm risking a very small percent of my account because I don't trust the up move yet on anything yet. So if it's gonna pop up, I just go ahead and get something off of it. Now, remember, a percentage of your account is kind of relative to the account size that you actually have. If you have a small account size, then some people have to be able to risk a little bit more so they can actually be able to start building the account up. So if you have let's say you have $100,000 account or something like that, risking 1% of the account is actually warranted. If you have let's say if you have like a $1,000 account, risking 1% of the account, you ain't gonna make anything. So you have to be able to push up the limit a little bit. So when I talk in general, I just say okay, well, go ahead and go with a 3 to 5% if 3 to 5% if the market is relative off of that movement. Let's see. XPX 500, adjusting the overall areas of this consolidation order on this one, kind of the same thing. I said that if the market broke the counter trend line break, I would be interested in being able to get in. It fell back inside of consolidation, so there's no trade as of yet. If the market does break to the upside, then the first area where I would look at being able to get out is 3760. 3760 would be the area where I would like to be able to get out of it. Entry will end up being right around 3720. I got 3722. To be safe, you could say 3723 as just a number from there. Risk reward factor on that one be 1 to 1.8. Yeah, it probably end up being 1 to 1.8. I wouldn't be surprised if the market really starts running at 37. 37 is where this previous consolidation area was. So if it hits 37 and it starts running, then you may end up kind of, you may want to start trying to jump into it, but you're still inside of consolidation if that happens. Since we know that the market actually ends up rejecting off the top of this one, then I just wait until the market actually ends up going above 37.20. I feel more comfortable with that move if that does happen. And if this happens, then I know that NAS is going to happen at the same time. So we end up having that one. So I'm going to end up placing in that order as well. On that one, pending, it'll be a pending long at 37.20. Say 37.20, 37.22. Come on, computer. Jeez. Stop loss. We can make this stop loss a little bit tighter. I'm gonna say 37.05 for the stop loss. And take profit will end up being at 37.60. All right, that one is locked in as well. That was locked in as well. DAX, let's see what's going on with DAX. DAX has created a new consolidation area now. So these trades that I ended up talking about to the downside where I felt like it can go to 11,400, I still believe that. But currently right now, we got a little bit of an adjustment that we have to do with these trades. So let's take a look at that real quick. Market fell back up to consolidation, rejected back off based off of that movement that ended up happening earlier. So essentially, this chart looks like crap right now. We could necessarily, hypothetically, we could call that the small consolidation. We can call this the breakout of that move when it fell down to the downside, which is really right there. But we can call that move. It went right back up to this overall consolidated area, and then after that, quickly started to fall. I won't even give that adjustment. There we go. Essentially, what is happening is this: there is the new support right there. I'm not going to call it a breakout of that downside position, natural support. I'm going to call it where it basically hit 3 separate times the natural support. Now, the resistance of this one, would I consider that? There's no resistance right there. Yeah, this chart is not looking good. Just for its information, it's not following anything aside from saying that that's the natural support. So this is what I'm going to say then. If that's the case, then this is the support box area. There goes your node, which matches up with what I see right here anyway. Yep, there it is. So there goes your node right there, which means that now we got a little bit of ways to be able to consider being able to take a trade off of that one. So entry on this one, I would not consider anything until this happens to the upside and to the downside. Upside trade is still the same. The upside trade I have as 12,350 up to 12,520. Downside trade adjusts a little bit. The new area would end up being, let's see, 7,400. Let's see. Entry will be at 11,940 as the entry force a sale. Stop loss will end up being above this overall U-turn area right here. If that remains to be true, I have it 12,079. Take profit will be at 11,400. If that does happen. So if this market does reject the VWAP and that remains to be the fractal high, my stop loss will be above that fractal high if it does fall down, and we end up going from there. I'm going to place this trade in, but I might have to adjust it if the U-turn ends up going from there. What you got? Let's see, 12 to 50 entry. Okay. Oh, you're talking about to the upside. I got 12,350 at the entry to the upside. 12,350 stop loss. I'm going to say 12,250. Take profit as 12. I'm going to say 12,500 just to be safe. It can get up to 520 safely, but I'm going to say 12,500. Make sure I lock that. Make sure I lock this. So those will be the trades for today. I don't think that any of them will probably be triggered aside from maybe DAX. But if DAX gets triggered, then that means that definitely US 30. I mean, definitely not US 30. Definitely NAS and XPX 500 won't get triggered if that happens. If it falls down to the downside. I think I still have that order in at 350. Yes, I do. I actually have a sell limit at 350 as well if it does pop to the downside. I just got to place in this trade to the short pending order real quick. 11,940 will be the entry. Come on. Stop loss 12,000. 12,080. I'm using a position size calculator, so it's automatically adjusting my numbers. Eltran, I think that's the same one that I ended up showing you before. Obviously, you can do it based off of that, or you can do it based off of a Google Sheet one that you can be able to have. But this one's already embedded into my MetaTrader, so I don't have to adjust much. It's just that I just got to place in the numbers that I automatically spit out everything for me. Yeah, there we go. And I would say it'll make sense, 4%. All right, got that trade placed in. So got a couple orders and got a couple orders in for everybody, just to be able to take a look at it. Don't have it. They haven't placed a order in on US 30 yet, but if I'm going based off of this last conversation that we just had, I'll probably just adjust it back up to here, meaning that we'll go 12,730 ish. Yeah, 12,730 up to 30,000. Stop loss will end up being below these last U-turn areas that end up where the market kind of wavered a little bit. at 12,000. I mean at 29,650. You could probably adjust that just a little bit better to be able to give you a little bit better risk reward. So let's say 29,655 will probably end up being something that I would think about trying to trigger in off of that movement. But upside movements, I think, are going to end up happening. Um, when they will happen, I don't know. I don't know that information. I just know where I want to get in. If the market moves to the downside, then I don't know. It's probably going to have a block over a block. It, anytime that you have a block over a block, that means to me that there's more pressure to the upside, that the market will move up to the upside off of this one. Now, if based off of how the market's done, kind of stayed in this overall area. If it stays in this area going into October 1st, when it pops out, it's going to have an extreme move to the upside very quickly, which means that this first take profit may end up being cleared very quickly, and then after that, it may start trying to jump back into being able to break above 30,130 and trying to go into this next area. So it could be another 600 to 700 point move if that does happen for its overall movement. Obviously, you can see that W pattern being built out right here. Anytime that you end up seeing a W pattern, then that means that you can have two orders off of this one and two. So that would be the second one. That would be the first one, and being able to place in that trade. I do like seeing those because it makes it very easy to be able to. You can take one and just be able to ride it all the way up, or you can be able to just say, okay, well, I feel comfortable getting out right here and then getting back in right there. But that's to whatever your adjustment may end up being. You like what I end up doing, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button. Make sure that you end up supporting what we're doing in the red brand, and being able to get all that stuff done. I appreciate each and every person being able to talk, communicate, and everybody else. The group and the community is building out strong. We're very close to 700. We literally did almost 100 new people inside of the community within, I want to say, a 3-week span. So that's credit to y'all. I really do appreciate that, and being able to get that done. Now, obviously, we got to be able to make sure everybody's making money. So bring your ideas, bring everything else like that. Discord will end up being activated on October 1st. So I end up having a little bit more information about that. Super excited about that for everyone. And we end up going from there. Make sure y'all end up supporting everybody else that's going through here. Make sure you take a look at Fatty's page. Fatty's doing a lot of stuff with Pound Yen. Make sure you take a look at L-Trans page. He's doing a lot of great stuff with gold. Make sure that y'all end up taking a look at what Block is doing. He's doing a lot of stuff with cryptocurrency. He's making waves on XRP. So make sure that y'all end up taking a look at everything that's going on with that stuff as well. Just trying to build out everything and trying to make sure that we can be able to take back some money from Uncle Sam, in my case, and be able to go from there. Like always, plan your trade your plan. Everyone, I'll see y'all a little bit later on. Take it easy.